Well, good afternoon. Ah dear, Sunday, dimanche, the 2nd of June. Goodness gracious, this is June when we're supposed to be in our shorts and t-shirts. Well, never mind.
In 500 metres, continue straight onto D63.
I've got the navigator thing working on my telephone because I'm going somewhere that I've never been before. Yesterday evening I did all of the research
straight onto D63
and looked for a brocante to go to. Now there's brocantes all over France this weekend, but most of them are a very long way away, and the closest that I found
on D63 for 4 kilometres
was at a place called Jeu Maloches, and it's, as far as I know, it's a very small village, possibly a small town, I'm not sure. And I don't think it's going to be very good as a brocante because the weather. Would you choose to sit outdoors all day in this fine drizzle when it's not very warm, trying to sell a few old plates and broken toys and things like that? So I'm not expecting very much of this. But I thought, you know what, I've never been to Jeu Maloches, and chatting to Nicole this morning, told her what I intended doing, and she looked at me completely blank. She said, "Where's that?" She had never heard of the place. I'd never heard of the place, I've never been there. So I thought, well, maybe the brocante will be interesting, maybe it won't be, but let's just do the tourist thing and visit a little village in the middle of France and just see what we see. We're just coming into the little village of Cormier. Well, we're coming into Cléon-sur-Indre. And this is a pretty little place. We've been through here before together.
In 500 metres, turn right onto Place du Huit Mai, D943, signs for Châteauroux, Saint-Chernoux.
Did you get those directions? I call her Veronica because when I'm lost, she mops my brow.
Turn right onto Place du Huit Mai, D943, signs for Châteauroux, Saint-Chernoux, then turn left onto Rue de la Gare.
Yes, look, a traffic light. Now, something for English people, watch the sequence of the lights. It's different. It just goes from red to green. It doesn't go to amber. And these lights seem to take quite a long time because they let people go one at a time.
Turn left onto Rue de la Gare, D18, signs for La Trana, Éculé, then swipe right to stay on Rue de la Gare. Take the next right right onto Rue Limousine, D24, then turn right onto Rue Traversier.
Well, I'm sorry about this weather. Sort of mucks up the visibility a bit. But as we come round this next couple of bends, I think we're going to see a pretty sort of sight. Chateau de Palou, up on the hill. Can't see it because the trees are in the way. Oh well. We're crossing the river Indre. This is another place I've never been before. Was very pretty. Well, we're passing through another town, and I don't know how to say the name of this town. Heugnes or something, Heugnes. I could stop and ask a local, but as you can see, all the locals are sensibly indoors. Crossing a railway line, there's a thing. Doesn't look like it gets many trains on it. Just seen the first road sign that indicates where this place is. said it was another 3.5 kilometres. Well, we've been best part of a kilometre in the time it took me to tell you that. Probably all want me to stop and look at whatever it is in this barn, don't you? This is when the kids start saying, "Are we there yet?" Well, no. Well, we're in the right place anyway. Let's find somewhere to abandon the car.
You have arrived.
Now, the political story of the moment in Europe is that we are going through a period of elections. I don't get involved in such things, but it does mean that all of these little villages have got these placards everywhere with all of the different political parties all claiming why we should vote for them. As I say, I'm not getting involved in that. The noise in the background is a lot of people having a good time in the marquee, because it's lunchtime, of course. Well, I did predict that as a brocante it wouldn't be very good because of the weather and partly because of the size of the place. So yes, as a brocante it wasn't worth the drive, but that's not the only reason for going to little villages. And what we're going to do is we're going to go and have a look in this church, Notre Dame de l'Alliance. And they've got a bit of an exhibition of local history going on in here today. It says, Ne pas toucher, SVP, s'il vous plaît. So we won't touch that. But we will look at the pictures that they've got. It's fair to say that this is a very small church. But there's some interesting carpentry. The pulpit. I think what we need is a minister to come and climb the stairs into the pulpit and preach. That very much is out of fashion these days. You know, normally preaching is done from the lecterns. And of course, this is a very Catholic church with stations of the cross and with statues, of course. Some of them I'm not too sure of. You know, St. Anne Douay. Various depictions, of course, of the Blessed Virgin Mary holding the infant Christ or just on her own. One of the things that's a feature of French churches are these memorial plates that people put on the wall around the, I'm going to say the Lady Altar. I'm sure someone will correct me about that, but very often there's the high altar, but you can have other altars in a church, and the altar dedicated to the Blessed Virgin Mary. The other altar in this church seems to be dedicated to Saint Anthony of Padua. But there we are, very small church, in many ways a very simple church. A lot of noise going on outside this simple church. And while I'm here in this very pretty small town, big village, I thought I'd just show you that. If any of you feel a need to take a holiday, that is a website worth looking at. Well, I thought I would just stop here for long enough to take some film, video, you know what I mean. The train of Lower Berry. And in case you're not sure what a train is, well, they've got this wonderful thing sat outside, and better tell, what's he call himself these days? Waylon Wire, that Bernice has got another job. But we're going to see what we can see. It's closed at the moment, so we can't see much. But we can see something. You know, assorted wagons and a big pile of coal. And a sign there that says access to the site is strictly forbidden. Anybody who penetrates and walks in the place is liable to a fine. Okay, well, we won't do that, but we will just walk round this tree and we will look. That's the great thing with the camera. I haven't got to walk right up to it. I can zoom. It's a rather lovely sort of little engine, isn't it? Wants a bit of TLC. It wants a little bit more of more than magic juice and 12 volts electric, I think. And hiding under tarpaulin is a rail car. In many countries, France, not, you know, same in France, same in many countries, railways were built just around about the time that people started learning how to drive cars and lorries. And so there were all sorts of attempts made at keeping a railway running at minimal costs. So there was a whole range of these funny little railcar things that could trundle up and down the tracks with perhaps just one operator, cheaply. But ultimately most of these lines ended up being closed. But France, being a much more civilised country than, shall we say, England, didn't dig it all up. And there are preserved lines. Now, I think this is the end of the line and sort of their maintenance depot or restoration depot, whatever, and storage place for some rather sad-looking vehicles that would love to be brought back into life, wouldn't they? What they need is a lot of volunteers to come and polish things and paint things. People keep telling me that I should join this railway, but I currently just do not have time or sufficient desire. You know, I'd like to, but you can't give up your life to a thing like this only on the strength of I'd like to. But there we are. I thought you'd like to see that. I like to see it.